You are free to do whatever you want. Do you know who you are? You are free to do whatever you want.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Running a little late today, as always. If you're out there watching, give us a shout out. I need to post this thing. Or is roiling the markets? Join us today. Learn what is up with gold, Bitcoin, crude oil, and more. Pedro and Striking go over the markets and give you the outlook for today. That's what we're doing today, ladies and gentlemen. I missed the opening cue there. Now we're getting started. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I've been putting it off as long as I can here. Let's get this show started. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Welcome to DYOR Live here on the DYOR Media Network. My name is Tom, otherwise known as Striking, here in the digital media world. So glad to be hosting another episode of this great show we call DYOR Live. Today, it is March 12th, 2026. One day closer to my birthday, one day closer to Christmas, and what, ladies and gentlemen, one day closer to the sun going supernova, making all this Bitcoin stuff irrelevant. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Normally, I'd introduce my co-host, Mr. Pedro Garcia, but he's missing. I'm sure he'll be around at some point. He's late as usual. Anyway, theme of the show today, as always on Thursdays, is a market recap for the week, talking about what's going on, where the market's going. Today, war. It's getting worse over there. Not better. Iran is taking it out on his neighbors, saying, we're not going to stop bombing you until you kick all the Americans out. You kick all the Americans out of your countries, out of Saudi Arabia, out of Bahrain, out of Kuwait, out of the UAE. And you know what those governments said? No chance. No chance. You know why? Because they're the ones keeping you out of our countries. Also, the new leader of Iran, the son of the old one, it keeps issuing these statements and all that. But he is not to be seen on audio, video, nothing. There's no proof of life for him. So wondering what's going on with him, if he's alive. Hold on, I forgot to stop my timer here. Wondering if he's alive at all. Even though he's the leader of the kind of the enemy country in this, that's receiving the business end of the United States military. He's still a world leader and still needs to be out there and be seen so as people know that he's there and know where to find him if they want to overthrow the government. Anyway, we'll talk about that in a little while. Bitcoin still struggling along here. Not this this whole war thing. Here, let me load. This whole war thing has proven that Bitcoin is not the flight to safety. It's not a hedge against inflation. It's not really anything. It's not really anything at all. That's the problem here. Our own guest on our show last week, Mike McClone of Bloomberg Intelligence. Hold on, let me back up the bus a little bit. If you recall, Pedro takes a lot of grief for calling it like it is, saying market's going down. People beat him up. Oh, it's not. We're going to burn you at the stake, tar and feather you, drawn and quartered. Then the market goes down, and Pedro says, right, nobody says, oh, you're right, Pedro, I should listen to you and trade with you. Except me. I did that. Even a bunch of you viewers out there are a little shaky on that. Where did all my... Hold on one second, just making sure everything's... Oh, that's right. I didn't have the X going here. Anyway, Bitcoin, not a flight to safety. And I shouldn't say not, I said not anything. It's obviously a financial instrument now. But our own guest last week, Mike McClone of Bloomberg Intelligence, agreed with Pedro in that there's a lot more downside. It's called Bitcoin the best trade of the year. Best trade of the year. Why? Because it went down on January 1st. It was like 100,000. Then it went all the way down to 59,000. He said very few products you've been able to short and it loses half its value. And if you short much of that on a futures market, you don't make, like hodlers would make double their money going in reverse. You can make 20 times, 30 times, 100 times your money. You can essentially 100x that trade. So the Bitcoin short has been the best trade of the year so far. And it doesn't look like it's going to continue on the up. Pedro switched from bear to bull really quick the other day when it popped to 7,200. But I think he's seeing the light and saying that it's going to start coming back down here. And Mike famously said, it's worth about $10,000 a coin. Set the internet on fire. Even today or yesterday on Cointelegraph or CoinDesk or whatever, they're beating him up. Because they need to find someone to beat up to distract you from the point that the institutions are pushing the price down so they can get in much lower. I had one guy on Twitter argue with me that you obviously don't know how the financial system works. Yes, that is how the financial system works. You know where the banks learned this? In every market on the planet for the past million years. And you can see the evidence of that in the futures markets every day. Every day, banks, I say banks, but I really mean big financial houses, push the price of things down so they can get a better price. They don't need to push it all the way down to the floor, to the lowest possible point. They just need to put it down to where they can get their buy orders filled or their sell orders filled. Market has to move and it has to go down. If they want to get a lot of people into the market, banks will sell. Let's just use round numbers. They'll sell 500 contracts because they have 1,000 buyers. And there's only, so many, there's not enough contracts in the order book. If you look, if they sell 600, it'll go down to someone that wants to buy more. I'm getting these terms reversed. If they want a better price, they can sell and push the market down and buy more of them, all of them back at a lower price, and then ride it up and make up for whatever they lost on the selling on the way down. And then the buyers ride the wave all the way up. It's not as complicated. It's not as easy as I just said. It's obviously complicated. But that's how markets work. That's how people with a lot of money influence markets. They sell, they buy, they move the market. And banks do this. And they don't want to buy up here. They don't want to buy at 70,000. And the reason is that to 2x their money in the spot market, they have to double the size of Bitcoin's market cap to 140. And that's a lot of money right now because big money is going elsewhere. They want to push it down to 50, 40, 30,000. Then they can double their money just by going to 60,000, right? Right. Much easier. And if you can push that down, if you can create the climate for it, then it'll do that. Price goes where the money is. It doesn't go where holders think it needs to go or people watching the chart every day, where the money is. And if you look at the liquidity maps, book map, and all these things, and even the Bitcoin chart, you can see, especially the lines where Pedro's drawn them, there's liquidity down there. So Bitcoin's not a flight to safety. Otherwise, it would have gone up. You know what's also interesting that hasn't gone up? AI Alpha Wolf in the house. Thanks for joining us. Really appreciate it. On my own here for a little bit. Wolf, if you want to send me a link in Telegram to anything for me to put on the big screen, feel free. There's Mr. Pedro. One second, everybody here. I got Pedro in my ear. He'll be on the show in just a second. Pedro, go ahead and get yourself sorted. And I'm just babbling about Bitcoin right now. And I was talking about our guest last week, Mike McClone of Bloomberg Intelligence, talking about how the Bitcoin short was the best trade of the year in all of the financial markets. And B, how he agrees with you that there's still a lot of downside left here in Bitcoin. A lot of people want to buy down low, and he's famously out on the internet saying that Bitcoin is a $10,000 has a $10,000 floor on it, and it could go there for the same reason you do. Our guest last week, Mike from Bloomberg. Hold on, let me bring your mic on here as I'm talking to you. Anyway. Mike's all over the internet saying $10,000 a coin for the same reason you do, because they're like, people would much rather buy it down there. That they're going to put their money there, and they're going to wait for the price to go back there. So without a bunch of other people changing their minds and saying, no, this is a good price to buy it at here, it's going to go down. Whether it goes to, there's a lot of money between here and 10,000 in buy orders. I mean, there's a lot. But things change. Is it possible? Sure, of course it's possible. Is it probable, 10,000? No, I don't think it's probable. But is it possible? Of course it is. Anything's possible in the financial markets. But anyway, he's all over. There's nobody to beat up for Bitcoin right now. There's no Jerome Powell. They can't blame Trump anymore for this and that. And so since there's no moon boys out there right now going, they've got to find someone who's got to be the Antichrist. And right now that person is Mike McClone. And he's like, really? CoinDesk, Cointelegraph, all these groups are putting out stories, internet's or Bitcoin's biggest detractor, calling out ridiculous numbers and stuff like that.
I love it, dude. I'm going to champion him. I'm going to straight up champion him and be like, listen, from a trader, from a technical analysis standpoint, and I've been on like some big names, like, look, he's right on. Like, there are buyers down there. And here's the thing. I don't think the institutions want it to go up before it goes down.
Right. Same. They wanted to get it lower. It's easier to make money if they start at a much lower price.
I mean, and it just makes sense. If I am an institutional trader, if I'm sitting there and I go, where is my best bang for my buck? It's right here. It's right but I said anywhere between 100,000 to 10,000, Bitcoin is a steal. Absolute steal. In 15, 20 years, when that thing is sitting at 5 million, 10 million a coin, it will change the land. It's going to change the landscape. So it's one of those things that like you can. I guess I'm looking at it like this. If you're an institution and you're, this is a nascent, still budding. industry. I mean, crypto's an industry, but it's also like a movement, like AI, like computers, right? It's like it's a new system, or
True.
it's the upgraded system of the previous Web 2 system, and it's not there yet. It hasn't hit that quintessential moment when like Google takes over, and Yahoo drops off. We have not hit that period yet, and so people are vying for that position, vying for the actual the top dogs. It's still like gladiator time in crypto still. Like it's still yes, Bitcoin is it, but everything else is still up for grabs. And so it's like if I'm an investor, I'm watching this, and my goal is to get everything as low as possible, and so I can ride this for the next 20, 30 years. I mean, the reason why Warren Buffett is so rich is because he understood what was happening with McDonald's in the 1970s and seized candy. Like Coke, he bought Coke when it was literally cents.
Yep.
And
so
he wrote that all
over. Hook everybody on sugary, high fructose corn syrup drinks, and I'm going to make billions.
Yeah. And I mean, those three trades of his, he understood the circumstance. And it's like, that's where we're sitting right now. We're sitting in that 1920s, 1930s period, but just move 100 years forward, right? Like, we're just coming out of the freaking, what's the word I want to use?
The Middle Ages. Oops, got you on the wrong big screen again. Pedro, on a side note real quick while I fix this. Yeah. AI Wolf's in the house today, and he hasn't been here in a while. He just noticed you cut your hair, and it has been a while. Yeah,
it has been a minute. It's been almost not a year. It's been about 8 months. 8 months. It's weird because I keep seeing long hairs pull up, and I'm like, I look at it, I'm like, oh yeah. To me, it's been, feels like ages, but because I'm going back to what I originally used to look like, right? So it's like, this is me. But for years, everybody saw me with the long hair. And so I actually saw a friend of mine the other day. I went into BJ's and I was getting some stuff, and he's like, Pedro? And then I go, what's up, man? How you doing? And I totally forgot, that I cut my hair, right? And he's like, wow. And I was like, what? He goes, you look so different. And I go, oh yeah, my hair. And he goes, yeah, but like your facial structure, everything. And so I go, dude, I had heavy hair. Do you understand? Like I had it was like 4 pounds when I weighed it. Like, do you understand how heavy 4 pounds is on your head? Like,
No, I don't.
It's a lot of hair. Like, it's a lot of hair. Anyways, and so he was just kind of cracking up. So what's up, brother? How you doing? I hope you're doing well, man. What's going on with you?
I gotta fix my green screen here.
Screen.
Oh, speaking of green, with we were having a side talk about Solana there, and Walter thinks it's a buy down in the 60s and 70s. I'm still thinking that this shit's long-term zeroing out because the banks and financial institutions will bring out their own chains, and I disappeared for some reason. I don't know why. And don't know why I'm not coming back. But anyway, and plus the market sentiment right now for altcoins is not good. Even XRP, Ripple announced today another $1 billion investment. People keep pouring money into that company, and they're valuing, Brad has valued his company at $50 bazillion quadrillion dollars. Actually, I think it's 500 billion or or something like that. Some crazy number.
500 billion.
Maybe 50 billion. Whatever, it's more than 6 cents. So, hey, look at that, Alpha Wolf with the donation, ladies and gentlemen. We haven't had a YouTube super chat in ages. Thank you very much, AI Wolf. Yeah. Really appreciate it. As always, I don't even remember my shtick from it. As always, every donation goes to bettering this show and building up that fund so Pedro and I can go to Ibiza and get hookers and booze. No,
dude, you got it killed that last bit.
I know, it's terrible, isn't it?
It's the problem is because like it's antithetical to both of our like
right,
if you really
it's the
know,
opposite of
it is like me and Tom are the guy who's gonna put our head down and just work and like put the like we're just vacation. I can do that when I die, right? Like that's more of our mindset, even though we joke around about it. But it's like, and plus, I mean, I'm just I'm a godly man, and I don't play around with that stuff. But either way, thank you, Alpha. We appreciate you.
That was a celebration of Pedro cutting his hair. Now my hair is about as long as his because I haven't cut it since I got into crypto. Ooh,
oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I think my hair was 3 feet.
It was long.
Yeah, it was like by my crack, like lower than it was long. Yeah, and sometimes like it would be so much, bro. Like my neck, I'd wake up sometimes, and like my hair would be, I'd be like, get out of my face. And, dude, so it's summer, right? I was starting to get summerish, so I was rolling down the window, and I forgot that I used to roll down the furthest window, and then the back window behind me, so the wind wouldn't blow my hair in my face, and I would leave my window open. But it was like the first time I could actually roll my window down without hair in my face in like 10 years. I was 10 plus years, and it was glorious. Like just being like, ah, and the wind blowing, and I'm like, this is so amazing. I forgot how awesome this is. Like, it's a big deal because you get these stray hairs, and they just irritate you. They just like rub against your forehead, or even if your hair pulled back. I don't understand how women can handle that. I don't, man. It's like an earache. The irritation of an earache, like, it's the little hairs that just kind of come down right here, and they just tickle your forehead or your eyebrow, and you're like, get over me. Like sometimes, like, I wonder, like, when you see women all pissed off, it's probably because their hair has been bothering them all day, and they're just like, ugh. And they're not even pissed off at you. They're just irritated because of the hair that has been tickling their forehead. Such a dork.
Should be, Alpha says, you should be at a Slayer concert with the long hair. I'm 50 now, and I've had my head shaved for the last 20 years. I wanted to see if I was balding yet. Thank God, I got a full head of hair still.
Awesome.
Oh, that's good. I was trying to bring up an old-timey picture of Pedro, but I didn't have any handy. I'm not setting my computer out to go find any. Hold on, maybe this one. Oh, everything running so slow. Oh, there we go. There we go. Let's bring this up here.
Oh my goodness, bro.
There we go. Walter, there's the difference. I'm a little bit grayer as a year ago, and Pedro's hair is a little shorter.
Oh man, wait, dude, that is. I almost want to take a screenshot of this here right now and get that because, yeah.
You
can see how, like, right here, like, it would sag down on my face, and it would keep like it was like it would make my I feel like. Oh. Yeah. Anyways, it doesn't matter. That was years ago, man. When was that? It was 2 years ago?
That was 1 year ago.
Dude, and I'm wearing the same hoodie, dog. That's what's up. That's what's up.
That's all right, Pedro. In my my profile picture that I use everywhere, my blue shirt, and I'm pointing on the thumbnails of all these things. Here, let me.
It's like one of my favorite hoodies, though. It's like super soft.
Yeah, this thumbnail here, the picture I use on all of our things. I still like if you see me in a blue shirt on the show, it's likely this shirt. I have one in Chicago and one here that I use just for the show, and let me tell you, they get a little rank after a while because I just wear them for the 2 hours during the show. Then after about I wear them about once a week. After a couple of months, it's like, better wash this. But so they don't wear out when you just you're not wearing them every day. You just put it on for the show and then take it off after, hang it back up like Mr. Rogers. They last a long time because I remember filming something and I'm like, and I was trying to recreate my pointing thing, be there, and I was like, wait, I'm wearing. It was like 5 years later. I'm like, I'm wearing this shirt. I took this. This is the picture of me is actually a screen capture from a video I did helping promote this shitty token a long time ago. And telling him we were going to cover it on our show tomorrow, so be there. And I pointed. That's how Wolf says that makes all those crypto losses worthwhile. Seeing your hair. Says, dude, I helped launch that Trump War of Token the other day on Pump Fun, and I've been getting banned left and right just because of the name of the token. I've never had such a hard time in my life. That's weird. Well, they're ruthless out there. I mean, you got to pay to mention anything crypto anymore. You got to pay. I tried to post our show link in the Bitcoin forum on Reddit.
Yeah.
And I don't mean the mining forums or the maxi forums. This is a regular Bitcoin one, or people promote stuff, and they're like, nope, violates the rules. And I'm like, what do you want me to do? Pay? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, I'm not paying you, motherfuckers.
It's interesting because when you look at the actual crypto world, it's literally only because it's down. The moment we see Bitcoin and everything and its mama like flying up, everybody will be like, oh yeah, you guys are great, come on back. It's like this love-hate relationship, and it's the same way every single time. Like, it never goes away. You always have this, just people get hurt and bittered, and they're just like, no, I don't like crypto. And then they go back, like when crypto starts rallying and goes, and they look at their wallet and go, I'm glad I never sold pro crypto, right? And
told you.
Yeah, and then 3 months, 4 months down the road, again after the pump, they're like, nah, bro, crypto's a scam. I got scammed. And it's like, no, you just didn't sell, dude. Like, that's all it is. Like, learn to sell. Like, and then take your hit on your taxes and invest it back at a low rate. Because here's the thing. When it sells off, it sells, like 50, 60%. And so all of a sudden, you pay your taxes, you get in at those low levels, and all of a sudden, it picks up and you get a 5x, 6x. This, I forget the guy's name. He's, I think he's Korean. He's a tax guy. He's on YouTube. I watch him a lot. And he wears a blue shirt all the time, like you, with I think it's a red tie. He'll change it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and he just has a blank background, and it's just like,
Yep.
I love watching him because his stuff is like legit. And he doesn't take sides, but he's like, look, Trump is being an idiot here because da-da-da. But then he'll be like, Trump did something smart here. So it's holy shoot, that's weird.
Hey, Pedro, I'm going to take a second here and read a commercial.
Yes.
I haven't done this in a while, ladies and gentlemen. Let's do my favorite 1775 coffee. Yeah, I'm going to do that. I might as well. Might as well put them on the big screen in the back. You know what? Let's do this one. Let's do this one. No, not that one. Yeah, that one. Nope, that didn't work. All right. That one didn't work. I thought it was going to bring up the 1775 thing on the TV, but we'll punt on that. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, it's been a while since I've done an ad here. Since, have you still not tried 1775 coffee? Now's your shot. The 1775 starter kit is out, and they've only made 1,000 units, ripping through them. We know, because people on this show have bought them. When you buy their coffee kit, you get a bunch of stuff with it. You get three things. You get the bold dark roast that hits hard. You get the smooth medium roast, and you get the Vitality mushroom coffee for clean energy and laser focus. No crash. Nope. You get all single origin, small batch, toxin free and mold free. Plus, you're also getting my favorite, a gold spoon clip, because freedom isn't scooped with plastic. That's right, no nanoparticles in your coffee. You also get a frother strong enough to stir up your coffee and your mother-in-law's opinions. Get a black 1775 tumbler. All of this is $175 worth of coffee and gear, but yours for 99 bucks. That's right. This offers for the ones who've been watching 1775 blow up right here on DYOR Media, wondering, is it actually worth it? Spoiler, it is. Go to 1775coffee.com/studio and grab your starter kit before they're gone. Bold beans, clean fuel, and a morning routine that stands for something, just like we do here. Ladies and gentlemen, there's a QR code right over here next to me. Hold your cell phone up to it, pop that, put your eyeballs on our advertisers. They really appreciate it when they know that our audience is real and not bots like some crypto shows on these channels you're watching. Helps Pedro and I out a lot, just if you visit their site. So we'd appreciate it. If you're watching on your phone or on a tablet, in the chat, there's a little learn more link there. And if you're watching on the replay, first of all, thank you very much. Second, down in the description, a link to 1775 and their 1775 coffee and their deals. Brewed bold, served fresh, unapologetically at home. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks to 1775 Coffee for sponsoring this segment of DYOR Live. Pedro is still off. I dragged that one out as long as possible. Anyway, thanks for everyone for sticking around. While I read those ads, makes it a lot of fun here. Not sure what happened to Pedro, but I need to check on a trade here real quick. Oh. Well, I'm not actually trading. It's a sim trade. Gonna have to start doing that in my class, and so I'm trying it out. Mr. Pedro seems to be coming back here in the background.
Ready.
There he is.
Sorry about that. I had to.
It's all right. Whatever. I don't need to.
My tea, bro. I had it seeping. I forgot about it, and I had it seeping, right? And so when you let it seep, it gets stronger, and
steep.
I have green. Oh, what am I saying?
Seep.
And I'm supposed to say steep. Gotcha.
Coffee steeps.
Yeah, I steep it and make it more potent, dude. The other day it was so bitter, because I put in I grind up my own turmeric, not my own turmeric, but I put turmeric in, dude. I put cinnamon, nutmeg. I put in cardamom. I put in cloves. I grind it all up. I put in rosemary, thyme, oregano, grind that all up, boom. And then I throw in green tea with moringa, and then I throw in, I let that stuff steam, and then because I grind it so it's all fresh, it's super powerful, and it just makes my body feel awesome. The only issue is sometimes when I forget about it, because I want to cool it down, and then I put also black peppercorn, which actually activates a lot of the nutrients and these other things. And then I put in with the green tea, I'll put in some cayenne pepper and 2 big old spoonfuls of raw cacao. So it's like it's super powerful, antioxidant rich, and then sometimes I'll throw blueberries to cool it down with some raspberries and blackberries, which is phenomenal. And then I'll throw in the maple syrup, and it's amazing. But if I don't throw in the maple syrup and the chocolate, it's bitter. It's bitter. Speaking of the tea. Oh, and I also forgot I throw in beet powder.
Beet powder.
Because of the nitric oxide.
And then you cook up a whopping-sized burrito to put it all down with.
I do. That's exactly what I do. I've had a bunch of pizza last few days. A couple places that I've gone to hang out with friends. Because I'm the single guy, right? And they're not allowed. All your married friends aren't allowed to bring home food because it looks like they were hanging out and having a good time. So they're not allowed to have that. So it was fun because I remember I was like, why don't you guys bring home you guys always give it to me. I appreciate it, And they're like, oh, we can't look like we're having too much fun. And the guy started to laugh. He goes, absolutely. And I go, why? And well, if we do, then we can't come back out. I was like, dang, like that just sucks. I was like, you can't. He's like, yeah, it's kind of how it works, like in marriage. And I was like, that sucks.
No,
like,
that's why you get a new wife, and that's what I did. If there are rules, then not to your liking, then you have options. Obviously, way more complicated than that, but
it's hurt, man. I can't imagine
sorry, but just after I got divorced, I bought my motorcycle, which I had been wanting to buy for 30 years. First wife was adamant, and I listened to her for some reason. Second wife just hated it. She also hated firearms too, but I said, no fucking way, I'm an American man. We're owning firearms. But I relented on the motorcycle, and within 2 days of getting divorced, being finalized, I was like, what have I not ridden in 30 years? Like, oh.
Absolutely. Get a hog, or did you get a little rice burner?
No. I have I don't have a race. I do have a Japanese motorcycle. I would never buy one of those crotch rockets. Those are the dumbest things ever to exist. Because unless you race on a track.
They're death on 2 wheels.
It's absolute death. It's just stupid. I bought a Yamaha SCR 950. It's a scrambler type bike. It's kind of old timey design, but modern stuff. It's got a V12 engine in it, like the Harleys do, and so it's got torque out the ass, and it sounds great. And it's perfect for riding around the city of Chicago because you sit up high, the handlebars aren't too wide, so you can get in and out of traffic. You can get places quickly. You can see and you can be seen. And in the seats up high, all these people like to sit down real low and have their arms up and stuff like that. They get smashed by cars, by old ladies who can't see over the steering wheels, and all they see is handlebars. They don't see them. And so people see me, and I'm comfortable riding around in the city on a motorcycle, really in any traffic and in any weather. What scares the shit out of me is going on the highway. All the guys and the hogs are out on the highway driving like doom.
But they run like 10 deep though. They're never like
even
know
the
they're
motors,
there.
They're out there, right? But that scares the shit out of me. You know why? Because there's always some asshole kid in a rice burner car passing on the right, going around doing this, and that I'm like, I mean, I when I ride on the highway, and I barely do, I sit in that right lane, like near the shoulder, so I can get out of the way fast, because the drivers are so bad now. I mean, they pass on the right, they go across 6 lanes, and then when they come back, their back end gets loose because their car is made to go fast straight, but not turn while going fast.
When I see, because when I used to ride, and so you throw the two hands or the 2 fingers, right? And so I look at them, like I'll see there, they'll, because they look at you, and once you come by them, and I go, I'm gonna turn, and then I go like this, right? The two hands, boom, and then they always do the two hands back, like two wheels on the road. And now, like, and I pull in, I just, and I gotta go that way, and I always like let them know, because it's like you said, they're so on guard. And if you come in, like, so I'll.
Oh, they don't do that in Illinois. You can just, a bunch of Harley guys are riding, you just pull up and whatever bike. They're not like that in Illinois. Like California's like Hell's Angels town. Like they'll get mad at, if you just pull up next to them at the light, they'll be like, what the fuck, who the fuck do you think you are? I'm like, I'm going to get milk for my kid, so.
Yeah.
The best is that I have a bike that coming onward, they think it's, kind of looks like a Harley Sportster a little bit. And so some of the Harley guys will wave. Like every other bike guy, we just give the nod. Just, how you doing, man? Yeah. How you doing? Give the nod. But some of those Harley guys, they're living in a fucking trailer. And they spent all their money on a $30,000 bike they got to fix every 2 weeks. And then they drive by like, I'm cool and you're not. I'm like, dude, if this was cars, you'd be driving a Studebaker and thinking you're really cool. So knock that shit off, all right? I had that with one of my friends who's a Harley dealer.
It sounds a little personal.
I find it stupid. No, I just find it stupid when people think that it's only my culture and not yours, and so only the Harley bikes can ride over here or whatever. And my buddy from high school runs a Harley dealer, and I was using that example. I'm like, let's sit back and relax, or sit back and big picture this. If this was cars, all you guys would be driving chromed out Studebakers and thinking you were the coolest shit on the planet. Now think of this in the light of bikes. And he goes, yeah, we're driving old grandpa type things. And I said, exactly. How about driving something that's modern and drives well and performs well and all that? I'm not talking about the big cruising Harleys that guys, put their wife on the back, and they like the Honda Goldwing type equivalents for Harleys and stuff. And even the Indian motorcycle ones, those are like cars. I mean, they're amazing machines. I'm just talking about those idiots that drive around town on their, $30,000. I don't even know what they're fucking called. Fat boy, low riding bullshit thing with, I got the extra chrome package on it, and then I re-chromed it, and then I did this, and I put the traily things looking like my 10-year-old or 6-year-old bicycle on it.
That's so interesting.
Just ignore
you're
those
right.
guys. Just
the thing is,
making all.
There's a. I think we're
a tangent.
No, it's okay. What was it? What we were gonna say? What was I gonna say?
Well, I let me tell you why I went on this tangent. Because the other day here, it was 13 degrees Celsius, or about 60 degrees. It was about 50 something degrees, and so all of a sudden I could hear the sound. I'm like, people got their motorcycles out, and mine's in the basement in Chicago, and I'm in Ottawa, so I'm not anywhere near mine. But so I mean, it's like, and so I went out and I saw people riding their bikes, and I was like, woo! And it's going to be that time of the year again. And then then of course, like within 5 seconds, I see some idiot on his Harley, ignoring the other guy at the light in driving a Suzuki or whatever. And I'm like, just stop that. Just stop. Just be a normal person. Don't be a dick face. Tom's side tangent.
Love it. It's normally Pedro's side tangent.
I know.
That's my ADD.
Tom's tangents.
TT. Instead of PT, TT. Everybody loves big TTs. Big Tom side tangents. TST. There we go. Speaking of side tangents, let's check out a couple of ones that have been just kind of hit a little bottom here. Did you check out Shiba Inu? It's been showing some actually progress here.
I'm pretty sure I haven't even heard that name since you last brought it up.
Oh, Oh, really? Well, let me tell you about it. Okay. um, so it fell below the lows over here. And when it fell below, like the day that it really fell below the low, you saw a ton of people coming and buy it at the 50. It was 508, or probably just 5 or 605. And I think it's 60 or 50. I think it's 50. Yeah, 50. 50. 500 is where it was sitting. Came down, and then it rallied all the way up to 7 or 507, and then came back down here. What I thought was interesting was like the 40% push up that it saw. Like, who's buying it at this level? Who's buying it? It's not a lot, but at this low, if we see a rally in Shiba Inu, and again, I bring this up because if I'm an institution, and
you're not buying Shiba Inu if you're an institution.
No, you absolutely will. And this is the reason why, is you can sit there and get 40% off of these moves. 50%, you know what I'm saying, in a day or two. So that's why I look at it and I go, like, and then here's the thing. You have people buying, and then you'll have people to sell to, because as you see it going up to the 50 period moving average on that daily, right? Like over a period of 2 weeks, you see it get up there. I mean, like people are going to be buying because they get FOMO. You can sell off. That's what I'm saying. You have an infinity. You have a group of infinite buyers. And if you have a group of infinite buyers, it makes it advantageous for you to be able to buy something at the low and then sell it off.
Right, but that happens. Institutions, as you well know from your learnings, they have budgets and they have required earnings. And if you violate the budget or you don't meet the earnings, you're out. Next, you don't make your commissions, new guy. And these things don't happen every week. SHIB's going to be lucky if they have one good pump a year now. And being an institution and catching that, you'll be sitting on 51 weeks of losses. For that 1 week, you double.
Well, I think if they're going to get in, right, they you can see that people, they buy in, that zones are respected, right? You can see because over the last 3 years, we've been together. You and I have talked about zones many times, and you always sit in amazement how it comes back to that zone and then it explodes out. So those are institutional zones that I'm picking.
Wait, I get that.
Years and years.
I totally get that. But most of the years and years ones have been down and have not recovered significantly in crypto land. I mean, I'm not gonna like all the other ones you do with futures and meta and stocks and all that. Those work both ways well. But with the crypto ones, the money is. I mean, you can just see by the overall shrinking market cap in crypto how it's just. We got. What did we get to? 4 trillion at once, and now we're at about $83.
Well,
and so, a lot needs to change for an institute sitting in the morning meeting talking to the other traders and the boss. We're gonna put, I'm gonna put $250 in SHIB. Guys are. I'm gonna buy 10 million in gold. I'm gonna buy 40 million in silver. I'm gonna buy 100 million in crude oil. How about you, Jim? I'm gonna buy put 1,000 in SHIB. They'd be like, next.
The thing is I don't think it looks like that.
Okay, that's safe to say. I've never been in one. Never been in one of those meetings.
You have departments. You have departments. Literally. Well, I'm saying I have. Like I see some of the stuff that correlates here, and you have teams. You have teams who are specifically focused on commodities. You have teams that are focused on tech stocks. You have teams, right? There are teams that are combing through crypto who works for that work for institutions that are looking for deals. There's hundreds of those guys. I wouldn't say thousands, but there are hundreds of those guys that are looking for deals. right? And I think like let's look at Litecoin here, okay?
Litecoin.
We can say here, we can look at a lot of, we've been following Litecoin for years, right? Excuse me, I don't mean to burp in your guys' ear.
All right, I muted you.
Good. Okay, thank you. It is one of those things, like right here. This was a huge zone, right? I was like, this zone is going to come down. We're going to see it when it comes in. We saw it hit it. Boom. We saw the sell-off, right? Then I said, I probably, obviously it's traded through this, but I probably had a zone right here, right? And probably another zone right here. And so we saw price come in, bounce, push up, bounce, right? We saw price come into this level here, right? We saw a bounce come up. So this, now I look at flip zones. Other people don't look at flip zones, okay? It's one of those things that I look at, I like it. Now, I also have a bunch of other requirements for my flip zone, right? Then just simply, we saw price jump off of it, and then we saw price come back below it, okay? I want to see multiple jumps. I want to see multiple times after. In addition to that, in this area of sell-off, I want to see a ton of volume sell off. And then in that flip zone, I also want to sit there and see a real zone, like a weekly zone or a monthly zone. You can see that's this right here. So I'm going to use this right here. Boom. This is a flip zone. Okay. There are institutions, I believe, that are on small teams that are looking for things like this, where they can sit there and say, we can short from here to here and then pick up at these lower levels. And yes, you can put in thousands or hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars in multiple ways, because in crypto, unlike institutional world, you can trade the future side going long and short in proximity with the actual coin itself, right? Whereas in traditional finance, you really can't do that because it's called manipulation, right? And so on top of that, there's also side bets that you can play. And I'm not talking about like institutionals, or I'm not talking about like derivatives. I'm talking like literally side bets on multiple betting sites. The rules on crypto are still not even around. Like there are so many ways to make money in crypto that you take the short, you also take the long, then you take the bet, then you take the options behind it. It's just.
Although I must say, in defense of Litecoin, as we call it, Litecorn, because Chuck brought that up. Actually, I misspoke once, and then Chuck said you guys should make it a shirt, Litecorn. But that's a problem.
We still need a merch.
I know. I knew you were going to say that as soon as I said that.
Keep telling it. He was trying to bypass it.
The Litecoin is a proper coin, though. I mean, it's a real coin, a proof of work coin, which there's a whole industry around it and that type of stuff. It just hasn't seen the love that Bitcoin has had because Bitcoin still hasn't seen all the love that Bitcoin needs to have. But SHIB is still a fucking dog. It's a fucking dog with a bunch of people going, yo bros, yo bro. Yeah, we start our own blockchain. Everyone can start their own blockchain now and does. Just like everyone's starting their own stable coin now. Like even like here's one of my stories for the day. Wells Fargo starts their own stable coin, files for a patent or a trademark for WFUSD. Each one of these has gone through a committee now saying, "Oh my God, we're gonna have one too. We're gonna have our own currency." Blah 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 blah. And it's just, it's just more of the same shit. And like they'll just use it internally, and if they're lucky, they'll put some other smaller stable coin out of business. But mostly, it probably won't catch on unless it's forced. But like with SHIB, we have a blockchain, and then they have all these other projects that I can't even remember anymore because they just completely failed. And they're like, oh, we're developing. What? What can you do on the SHIB blockchain that you need it for? Nothing. There's zero. So like even even Walter was saying he thinks Solana is going to be the one chain that survives, and I'm being the devil's advocate on altcoins now, as you can tell, because I've been pissing and moaning about them for the past couple of months. It's not just that I'm down on them. I see what the major financial institutions are doing, and they're and the influence they have on Congress, and they're just gonna, their products will eventually win out. So, and just like with Wells Fargo here, their stablecoin will go nowhere, and someone will get promoted to executive vice president of stablecoins or something like that, and then in 2 years you'll see, I'm taking a new role in the local homeowners association in my neighborhood, because he's out. But like I said, Litecoin's actually a proper thing. Just hasn't seen the love. Too bad Litecoin hasn't moved. There's a lot of people that, if Litecoin would go to 1,000, there'd be a lot more millionaires in the United States. That's for sure, and even elsewhere around the world, I should say.
I heard somebody talking about this. I thought that was real interesting. When we saw crypto, and I've even brought this up as well, when we saw crypto at these crazy heights, we saw people literally retire. The bottom working class retired. They literally retired. And they sold, whether they
They're all back at work now.
It's sad because it's like, if crypto does explode, again, all those people would go through and retire. They would sell, I think, at the peak and then retire, put that money aside. There's a lot of people there. So it's like, to keep the economy moving and keep the institutions as well as the elites on top, ruling over the plebs, you literally have to have, crypto can't explode. So if it does, then it changes everything. It would change everything.
What's going on with AVAX, my friend? Avalanche.
So Avalanche is looking kind of weak here. You can see how the sellers have really come in and tried to sell this off, especially right here on this day. And so we should see this drop here down into that 6 to 4 area, or 6 to 5 area here, dollar mark. And it's real interesting that it's below this demand area, this liquidity area here. And I'm looking at that, just going like, is this going to hold? Like it should continue down. We're watching supply weeks starting to come in. We're watching them go up and play off that 8 period. So this would be a good little play to catch from that 9.5 area on the 8 period down into that 6.3 area. We're talking that's 4 points. So if you're looking to see something or trade something, this is what I would do. My stop would be roughly around this area here, and I would say, make your stop $50 to $100. You know what I'm saying? Because in crypto we can adjust things a little bit better than other things, and this is where we're looking to play, right? And let me go ahead and make this. This is the area that you want to see hit. It's a liquidity area because it's this little part right above here. Plus, you also have a zone here. And this is a weekly zone right at this level here. So I'm looking at going like, it's kind of a perfect spot. And I get short at these levels. So I'm looking at this going, nice little play right here as we're tapping into. This is going to be our stop area, and we want to see this thing come down to this level here. So that's one of the plays I'm kind of looking at right now as a play for shorting for AVAX. And I think that's like a 8 to 1.
8 to 1s are nice.
Give me a second.
Question is, where are you going to trade that, Pedro?
You could trade on any type of futures thing. Don't we have connections with future?
No, I meant where are you going to trade it?
Oh, well, other things.
The normal platform futures platforms don't cover AVAX.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, actually, yeah. There's not. It's so the CME has connections with Binance, so you can actually trade that through Binance. Yeah, AVAX, a bunch of other ones. I'll show you. Yeah.
Oh yeah, look at that. Huh.
The way you're saying it, you're like, what? Anyways, this is all massive. What's going on here? Why did that happen? All right, check that out. Let me see that again.
How about that?
How about that?
Although I don't see your zone there. It would help me if I was on the right time frame.
And it's just the weekly.
Oh.
You can see on the daily here that you are seeing volume drop off, right? What are we seeing here? Right?
Yeah.
What are we hitting here?
Yep.
Right? Then on top of that, you also have the, you should be noticing we also have some in here as well. So we'll see. But I think it's a good play, and you know, $50, $100, play off of this and you can have fun. Nice little play. You know, a little 8-to-1 right there. Kind of looking at that. You know, is it possible that we could actually, with our show, have connections with maybe the CME or a couple of those other things that, like, hey, we're a crypto show. You know, we're one of the most watched people on Rumble, and you know, we've had big names come on, like Patrick Doherty or
the
Mike.
The CME will not even sort of talk to us until we are an industry accepted norm with that lawyers have vetted and combed through everything to make sure that there's no hint. I mean, they barely even talk to Tasty Trade, and those guys are, you know.
Yeah, 20 plus years.
Right. No. The CMPs, they're like, we make so much goddamn money every day. They're like, you're the least of our concerns. I've reached out to all these people, and at least someone from the CME marketing group got back to me and was polite. Now, that was like 2 years ago, but still.
That's cool that they actually got back to us then.
Yeah, I'm sure it was intern number 8. Hey, tell that guy nicely to go fuck off. Okay.
But it's still a beautiful thing.
Pedro, when you got a new computer, did you keep your old video card?
Yeah, but it's not the best. Like, it's, you know, it was because as a trader, I'm not looking for the video card. I'm more or less looking for the you know, the processor, because I process data, not to visuals. It's more the CPU that I'm looking at, not the GPU.
I know, but the problem is that the old GPUs don't have the modern codecs in it to code and decode properly. And when you do anything like, say, play a YouTube video and that type of stuff, it will punt it back to the CPU and collide with it because it's not new. Like that's a problem I have. I have a problem with not on this computer, with my other one, is my CPU is old and it doesn't do certain things that now the chips have those instructions built on them, on the chips for video and certain calculations, is whereas on the past they were either elsewhere on the motherboard or on other things. And Intel just said, and AMD said, no, let's bury those in the chips. And they're not upgradable. You can't upgrade the video code and decode on the computer chips. And I realize video cards are expensive. They are not cheap nowadays. I mean, it's ridiculous. Thanks, AI. We need the AI industry to just totally take a shit so I can afford a new video card. Things that were selling like 2 years ago, top of the line video cards, $1,400, $5,000 now, $6,000. Thanks.
I have a friend of mine whose family has a big warehouse of stuff like GPUs and stuff like that. And he was saying, I go, well, I mean, he probably makes decent money. And he goes, all he needs is for the metals to go up for him to become a millionaire, because he just had a bunch of old stuff that he would sell.
Yep.
So he bought on the cheap. Now, even those cheap PCs, laptops, they're selling for 2-3 times the amount.
Yep.
I'm like,
those copper bus bars in the laptops that snake their way around and stuff like that. People pulling them out, selling them for, $50, $75 each. Probably bought the whole laptop for $5, or someone gave it to them. So take the hard drive out and give me the hard drive, and you can keep the laptop.
Crazy. That's absolutely crazy. So, I think what's interesting.
What's up with Polkadot here?
Yeah, one of the things I'm looking at with Polkadot is, again, we're playing off of this 8-period moving average. And what I find interesting is that if you look at the buy volume sitting here on that weekly, it's hardly anything. We're at this 8 sitting here, and we're having a hard time continuing up, and there's really no demand wick. So if next week I'm looking at it and I see it going up first thing in the week on that weekly, I'm expecting Polkadot to kind of see another sell-off, at least down into our 31s. So we're talking 20-cent drop, right? We're seeing it come up. So it's one of those ones I'm also looking at. We haven't put many demand wicks here. Down at these levels, it could come back down and try to tap. And so I'm expecting it to kind of come down at this level here. And again, that's that from about like that 150, 155 area down to this 130 area.
Welcome, Facebook viewers. I just saw our Facebook thing tick up. This is a rare occurrence on Facebook. Some people get thousands and thousands of views on Facebook. Not us.
Yeah. Well, maybe not yet.
Keep trying.
Yeah. And I mean, to you guys who came and checking us out, gotta have every one of you guys are appreciated and loved. And hey, if you have any questions, any concerns, just pop them out. Ask us, and love to go over them. Okay, with you guys. If you want us to look at other projects, doesn't really matter. As I've told Tom throughout all the years, the TA that I do and he will do will work on meme coins, fresh, brand new charts. It doesn't matter. It will work. And how many times have you seen me looked at a fresh new chart that they said you can't trade, and we trade it? Right.
Yep.
As Tom Bailu says, traders are going to trade. I
don't know anything else.
Yep. dude, I always think about your history in life and where you've been. I think no, I'm serious. It's like the coolest thing that you, like what you've gone through, man. Like you've literally been in the trenches and like prancing around, bro, understanding everything before anybody even understood it, but you just didn't know that you had pure gold. You know?
Yep.
I think that's awesome, because now where you're sitting now, do you understand what you're going to be able to apply, where you see things going? I'm really looking forward to seeing your growth. I really am. I think you're going to be fabulous, man. Fabulous. I'm so looking forward to it.
Thank you, Pedro. A quick shout out to my Aunt Lynn. My Aunt Lynn just asking about our show online. Aunt Lynn lives in Connecticut. Just a little ways away from you there, Pedro.
Really? Well, we need to connect.
But anyway, Lynn, yes, we do have a show. We're talking about finance for quite some time now.
Yes.
All right. That was
Aunt
a clip.
Lynn,
She's not here. I was just clipping it out. So I was just saying that. I was clip that out.
I got you.
Let's see. How far are we into this show here so I can find that? 123.
Sad to say, I'm looking at the market here for Ethereum, and I'm watching it coming up into my liquidity area here, and it's just looking weak, so weak. I'm like, no, say it ain't so. Like it just breaks my heart.
Looks like that avalanche chart. Looks like it's gonna.
That's exactly. But you still got that 400 period sitting right here, right here. It's holding. It's having a tough time.
Has it been below the 400 period? For not just has it been below it? Not just quickly piercing it.
No, it hasn't.
It's right on the precipice.
That's what I'm trying to say. It's like, and you can see, like, back in, July of last year, we came and we tapped below it. And again, I thought we were going to tap below it, hit this where was this? I'm trying to think. How far was this down? It was at 1,000. I thought we were going to hit the 1,080 area when we were back here. And then, because it would tap, it would get all this liquidity here, and then we'd see it come and tap right here, and then push up. And this is where, and we did see all-time highs after that. This is when we were talking. I could see hitting that 1,000, and then go up to the 5. And this is when I thought we were going to get all the way to 15,000. That was royally wrong. But like even at 5,000, when we were hitting that top, I was like, take profit. Make sure you take some profit. Make sure you're looking, grabbing that, right? Like we were taking profit. We, at this point, we would have been about 50%, 30% still in the market. As you saw it continue higher, as the trade progressed. But it pulled back, as we all know. So again, I'm looking to see if it falls below this. If we fall below that 400, Tommy, it's coming down.
Big one, fat. I told you so.
Well, here's the thing. We still went up. We're still kind of going up. It's looking weak, though. It's looking weak, and that will be a fat. I told you so. I don't disagree with that. But again, we were playing off these lows, and we were showing strength coming into it. Why wouldn't I want to take part in that? Look at the volume coming in the buys. Why? It's saying, hey, I want to move up. And now it's changing. It's changing. And so again, traders trade. So we'll see what happens here, though. But we're definitely struggling here at these levels here right now. especially with a slowdown in buyers coming in right here. So fingers crossed.
Yeah, volume going down for ETH isn't good. And remember, everyone, that's not trading. I mean, that's not blockchain volume. That's trading volume. Now, you know what? That would be something to compare, Pedro. Does the volume,
Really?
blockchain volume, contracts traded? Man, I'm getting all these terminologies confused. It's the amount of ETH traded per day on in transactions, transactional volume. Does transactional volume match trading volume? Or have any correlation at all? Is there anything that you could arb the spread there? That would be interesting to find out.
Maybe. I think it is very possible. I mean, it wouldn't even be that hard to really check, right? I mean, you just ask simple ChatGPT.
Right.
Because I mean, that's something that's just, it's blatant. At least in crypto, we can see that, right? And
I'll run it through Grok here, see what it has to say.
Yeah, that's curious. You know, what's funny is I feel like me and you one day are gonna own, like, me and you will be running a firm. Like I was thinking about this, and I was like, one day me and you might just go into business, helping people understand the market. Because when I remember, we're gonna be coming up to summertime, right? So there's a ton of fairs, good times. But last year I was sitting there talking with somebody, and they were just a mom and pop broker firm, and you know, they had about $100 million under management, which is fairly good, you know what I'm saying? And a guy had been in that, you know, for 20 years, and you know, and he had a few juniors, few junior reps. I think one was his son. But we started talking about crypto, and I say, I expect crypto to push up. I think we're going to see it climb. And I was talking over a period of 20 years. I go, if you just look at the stable coin stuff, what's actually happening at the time, they were producing and giving 5-10%. I said, I can't. I go, unless banks stop it, right? Which they pretty much have tried to do. But I think crypto is going to just pivot and go, all right, well, we're not going to call it, you know, stake and rewards, or, you know, or what you get from it. We'll just call it banana Hannah, you know, and this will be, you get bananas. You know, like I think it's knowing crypto.
Does that mean you need a banana hammock? Oh, dun.
Well, that's the point of why I said it, is like it's a big in their face, like banana hammock, right? So too much. I'm sorry. You know, it's not a joke if you have to explain it. But anyways, I just sit there and I told him, I said, look, I can't see this going away unless the banks really suppress this. But even then, they'll figure out a way to get around it, just like any financial institutions. You know what I'm saying? Like, fine, okay, if this is what you're going to do, we'll do this. I mean, the fact that Brad Garlinghouse is claiming that he's worth $500 billion, you know, shows more strength to crypto than what crypto is actually sitting at. Much like how I talk about with Amazon. Like, there's more people using crypto, more people messing with it now than ever before. Yet we're still at these lows. Come on, man. Come on.
I know. It's a strange thing. Let's see. I'm looking for the news here.
I feel like it's a completely set up. Pull up what Mr. Elon Musk is looking to do with.
Oh, it's 50 billion, not 500 billion. But still.
Yeah, still 50 billion ain't nothing to shake a finger at. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a pretty bold move, right, on his part. He goes, you know, and what's even interesting is that I know that they have not really supported the token itself, but the fact that they're willing to support the token at that point, that should tell you something, right?
Well, you know what? The article just scrolled off my screen now, and I can't find it. Oh yeah, Ripple's buyback program. Here, let me bring this up. Make sure it's up there. Ripple's let's put XRP on the graphics machine here while we do this. XRP is trading at 138 here, struggling. At the same time, Ripple's share buyback program values the firm at $50 billion. I would note that Ripple took a major investment that valued the company at $50 billion. And they're using a lot of that money to buy shares back from various people, including their own employees. They're offering them to give them their shares back. And for cash, which usually means they're trying to consolidate power and want to make sure the employees don't have enough shares or enough shares to have any influence at all. But you know what? They're not using any of that money for. And I talked about this earlier. They're not using any of that money for XRP. Zero. They don't use any corporate money. And now, as I said, if you recall, I said that they would be distancing themselves from XRP. And I found a little evidence of that in this article here on CoinDex. Ripple, the blockchain company closely associated with the XRP ledger network. Closely associated, they're now calling it. And later in the article, they refer to XRP as a partner. Ripple is a major contributor to the XRP ledger network. And they are one of the partners of XRP. Now, isn't that a big change? Because I said, sure enough, they're going to cast this thing aside at some point and just turn it over to the foundation. Say, yeah, we're not really involved with them anymore. We still have a seat on the board of XRP's foundation, but we've moved on. Because now they're worth $50 billion, and none of that is related to XRP. How much they actually produce in income, I have no idea. I mean, they bought a brokerage firm. I mean, they bought companies that make money, and so they I believe, like I've said before, they've realized that they were never going to get rich or die trying with XRP. There are too many people. They had too high expenses. XRP would need to go, up to $50 for everyone in their organization to realize the massive gains, or they could just do it the old-fashioned Wall Street way and use their cash to buy other companies and consolidate and become a full-fledged financial services firm, which is great. That's fine. That's good job pivoting, Brad. That was an excellent job and an excellent way to get rich. But this poor schmucks that are holding XRP, especially all the ones that bought it, $3.50, $3, $2.75, $2.50, $2.25, $2, $1.75, $1.50. They're sitting there holding the bag while Brad is sitting there smiling and saying, "Look what we've done." And I might add, they're claiming that $100 billion is being put through the ledger system now in payments and moving money around and that type of stuff. I find that I have a feeling it's a lot of, I've sent you 10 million, now send it back to me. Let's not send it over there or send it to this company branch. A lot of it's probably the same money moving around, but let's just assume they're right. And it's $100 billion moving through the ledger system. And it only generates enough transaction fees to support $1.38 XRP. I mean,
that would be interesting.
I mean, that's it. That's what it's worth. It's okay. They put $1 trillion. They do what JP Morgan is doing and putting $1 trillion through their blockchain, which I might add has no costs. Nobody has to pay any fees for it because it's an internal thing and major clients type stuff. And maybe XRP triples in price, 4x's, back to 350. I mean, that's what I was telling you about. That I didn't believe they could, unless they took over Swift. They don't have the capability to get the volume to produce the returns that the XRP maxis think is coming their way. And all of the money that they're now taking in investments, the last round valued them at $40 billion. This round valued them at $50 billion. Nothing. Zero. zero. In fact, XRP still took their tokens that they get from the blockchain foundation, from the XRP Foundation, and sold some of them to raise cash for operations.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing about XRP as a coin. If the institutions reject crypto at large the way it's sitting right now, and the government basically goes back halfway how the Biden administration is sitting, that would put institutions at the forefront of where things are going to go. If the government stays where it's at, even in the next administration, then it's loud.
Sorry.
That's okay. That sets up right for a crypto boom. So it's all predicated on this next 2-year period, right? Trump wasn't able to accomplish what he needed to do, and now jobs are slipping. We're in a war now. It's, he's basically he's a dead duck, or sitting duck or lame? He's a lame president.
He is, but he's still in charge of the Republican Party for now. Why? Because he's got access to the monies.
But here's the thing: is they're not going to win. Majority of Republicans are not going to win in the election coming up. I mean, I just don't foresee it.
I see it as being very, very difficult. As long as they can, I would like them to retain control and maybe even gain a few seats in the Senate. But in the House of Representatives, it could be a bloodbath. Could possibly be a bloodbath.
I don't see it in the Senate. I just can't see it in the Senate. There's just, right now, I'm shocked that voter ID was shot down in the Senate, right? Like that, yeah, right? Like you cannot go into a government building, right? And go, like, you can't even go to court. You can't even go to court without having an ID.
In the media, people like CNN and group, they play that up like, oh, it's racist. It's, poor people, black people don't have IDs. Have you seen the videos going around where guys go around and just stop random black people and say, hey, do you have an ID? Of course I do, dumb motherfucker. Why wouldn't I have an ID? And they literally can't find anyone. Guy went and asked homeless people. The guy goes, guy's homeless. He goes, yeah, I got my state ID, got my veterans card, got my state ID, not a single person. And I think he found one person said, you know what, last night I was mugged. It was in New York. I was mugged. I don't have my ID, but I ordered a new one. And how in the internet, they're like, oh yeah, they don't have internet. They couldn't find anyone. Like one dude like literally holds his phone up. He's like, I got my phone. And they point out, they're like, oh, how about this article on CNN saying that, or Chuck Schumer, your senator, saying that you don't have the capability of having, and they're like, that motherfucker, blah, 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 blah.
Well, what's even funnier is, have you seen the ones where it's like they have a bunch of black guys, and they're like, the one that I saw was a bunch of black dudes, and they're acting like primates, and they're like, ooh, ooh, and they're like, they're sticking the phone up going, oh, like, and the other dude's like, I was laughing so hard. And he goes, and he's like, do you need internet? And he's like, and I sat there, dude, it was dudes. They were Republican, they were black Republicans. And I found it so funny, dude. Like, it was like, I literally was like, and then the comments were like, this is AI, and I go, I don't know. It could have been, I didn't, they seem like
doesn't
legit.
Matter if it is or isn't. At the point, it made the point.
Yeah. Like, they were just like there was almost, the way the Democrats picture the culture of African American, as if like they're helpless, or like, this is gonna sound crazy. I'm gonna sound like a crazy guy, but some of the most capable Americans, but they're not Americans. They're illegal immigrants, but they're here in America. Okay, who's the guy? I forget exactly what he said, but basically he said it. He's like, they came across the Grand
Rio Grande.
Yeah, Rio Grande. Okay, then they were able to find housing. Then they got a job. Then they worked their butt off to get ahead. And some of these, a lot of them actually basically went on the internet, got a social security that's not theirs, right? And he goes, these are some of the most capable people. You put an American born and raised in Mexico and say, get here? Like, he's dying. Like, he's going to die. Like, there's no way a U.S. American born here, raised at 25 can make it in Mexico to here with no contacts. And yet, these people do it. When I say these people, I mean beautiful, capable, strong, intelligent people. And you're telling me they can't, and they have a hard time getting IDs? Like, they walk almost 1,000 miles going back and forth and doing all this stuff. It's not 1,000 miles, but I'm using it as an example, almost hyperbolic. But, and I said, and I was like, dude is Christian. The problem is nobody go listen to him. Nobody's going, like, I felt bad because I was like, he's right on. Like, listen, I have family, now they're citizens, now they're everything, but they came over. They came through the Rio Grande. They dealt with coyotes, right? They dealt with everything. Then they got they lived in a house with 15 to 20 other immigrants, all sleeping on the floor, right? They'd wake up in the morning, take a bite of, they'd make up their own corn, their own mas, right? Boom. They have fire. Like, it's like the stories you hear and you're like, respect. You're telling me that these people are not capable. Get out of here. Half of American teenagers can't even drive a stick, and you go to Mexico and all of them can. Like,
well, you got all those 1960s VW bugs still driving around down there.
Yeah. Dude, they solid, bro. Like those old 1980 Toyota Tacomas, with the ones that are short, long beds, or the short beds. Dude, those things were like, bro, I had 3 of them growing up. Or not, but I had a green one, I had a blue one, and an orange one. That orange one was awesome, dude. But I bought it in Katrina, and anyways, that was a nut. That was a crazy time. But I'm saying though is this, dude, come on. And then the Senate wants to sit there and say, no, that's racism and they're not capable and they need to be able, like, dude, this is such a political move. It drives me freaking nuts. Like, how is that possible? Anyways, all right. Next thing, let's talk about MST.
Wait, hold on. The last, I've had this up just for 1 second here because you mentioned at the end of the XRP thing, we mentioned if things went back to the Biden era. A step forward away from that is that the SEC and the CFTC finally came to an agreement and formed an understanding under the new laws they have, and they've divided up where they regulate products and how they work together. And now it's a formal thing now, not just a news thing. Well, we do this and we do that, and we do this and we do that. So that's a good step for everybody because that means that the two agencies will be communicating together, not just internally between them, but with the exterior world as well, with people, and letting them know proactively where you stand. Like, no, this stuff falls within our not saying this is legal and illegal, saying this falls within our scope of our regulation and this does not. And that can only be a good thing because companies like to know where they operate. If they know they're not being regulated by the SEC, they can go do A. If they know they're being regulated by the SEC or the CFTC, they know they have to do B. And that's good. That's good for innovation. That's good for stuff. And if things change, they will come and say, look, we are asking Congress to change our rules so that we can now regulate this other stuff too. And gone are the days which they're just going to say, oh, we're doing that to get more press and stuff like that. So hopefully this is a big step and not just a clusterfuck. Anyway, a little bit left in the show here, Pedro. You were just about to talk about Microsoft?
Not Microsoft, MSTR, which is
strategy.
Strategy. This is looking nice. It's looking weak again. I think we're gonna see it come back down. We're seeing a drop off of sellers here, but that's a good sign, because if we see it come back down with a dropping of sellers, right, that means it'll come down. We'll see a springback, and we're coming up to the $100 mark, which is what I've been waiting for us to see, right? So I think we could see this come from like the 130 down to that 100. Or roughly that 104, but either way, that's where I'm looking for to start to dollar cost average into MSTR. I want to see it populate here from a price standpoint, and I think it'll be like, I think at this point I think we're gonna see it. I'm not gonna go in huge, but I do want to get in on MSTR around this area here, because again, if we see it fall below here as well, right, the next level is like that 50 area. So I think we're going to see it hold though at this level of that 100, but it's one of those ones that I'm waiting and seeing. I'm waiting and I'm seeing. And so if we can see this thing come down to here, that'd even be better, honestly, because again, this will be the what's the right word? I think this will be a good counterplay. You'll see a lot more bang for your buck with MSTR versus just with plain crypto.
Wow,
plain,
look at that chart.
Yeah, that's real.
What was that first bump there to the left? That first big green. Yeah. When was that?
It was in 2021, rally.
Okay.
And then you had your 2024 right here. 25, boom, and then the sell-off. So
looks like a crypto chart to me.
Well, you can't just sit there and say that, because then, if I do this right here, right, like, what does that look like?
Crypto chart.
Exactly, and this is gold, right? Let's look at silver, right? Like silver, like just shot up, like ding, 120, and we saw it pull back literally to $72, right? 79, 78. That's a movement like crypto too as well. So we can't just sit there and say, that's a crypto chart anymore, because we're seeing everything play that way. Look at crude oil, right? Crude oil shot up to 120, and now we're seeing it kind of pull back to these levels here. So it's one of those things that it really comes down to the US dollar. The value of the US dollar is really what is happening here. Value US dollar, the euro dollar, how the three currencies play in relationship to the euro dollar, or the dollar index, right? Which is basically Japan, US, and the euro, right? Like that, they all play off each other. So how is that? What does that look like? And so as we start to, when we keep seeing the US dollar play around and seeing the other currencies lose value or gain value, that's really what we're seeing with these huge moves, like from the extreme macro sense, right? And that, a lot of that has to do with trade, what's happening with the petrodollar, and how that's being either absorbed or how it's being deployed in the world in regards to real buying and selling of oil, right? And so when we see a ton of trade happening, well, then you see a stronger USD,
right?
Because people, if people are going to use, are people pulling away? And we've talked about this ad nauseum, right? Of the US dollar, is it going to go by the wayside, or are people going to hold it? Well, I think we're in position basically seen if the Straits of Hormuz doesn't go correctly, which most likely isn't, we could see a pulling away from the US dollar even more. Because if we can't handle that proves that US dominance from a police state doesn't work anymore. And that's partly the security of the USD as well as the petrodollar. So we're in a touchy situation here. And so I think that's why we're seeing such huge movements now, or almost not as huge movements, right? We're literally seeing a consolidation of spring, whether it's going to go up or go down based off what happens in Iran and the Straits of Hormuz.
So still nobody's seen the new Ayatollah lately. Rumors are now circulating that he's dead also.
Dude, it's so crazy what's actually happening there. Have you heard about X creating or Elon Musk talking about X money?
I get about 7 of those a day in my various inboxes about the latest scam.
No, this is not a scam. This is like real. Like, I'm not talking it's creating a currency. He's basically doing a built-in digital wallet and basically a payment layer for inside of X. Like that's
everyone's been waiting for that to happen. I mean, that's where he got his roots, solving the digital payments problem, and now he wants to integrate it into X, and he'll integrate it into Tesla and probably Starlink, and he'll just all that stuff, and it'll work. A little bunch of grandmas will get scammed out of their life savings again.
Well, the thing is like I just look at it like this. I mean, the reality is, if he does this, it's going to bring, it's a new layer to X even more so, right? Which makes it more like all-encompassing,
Well, if you listen to all the people on Blue Sky, X is just a horrible place for it's all MAGA. And for ages, they were like, oh, it's just a liberal place where it's all left-wing crazies out there.
Well, I think it's a little bit of both.
Of course it's both. It's everything. You name it, it's there.
Yeah.
And that's fine. And these soft-skinned pansies, otherwise known as progressives, that had to leave, like, oh, we can't deal with it anymore. We have to go to Blue Sky because it's blue. Like, no, Blue Sky was developed not because it was for you left-wing pansies. It was developed as a decentralized system, Jack Dorsey built, blah, 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 blah. It's just cool. But X is still the place where everyone goes for information. Like, every person that I've met that's had a company account that said, oh, we're not doing it on X anymore because, we don't like the politics of it, has come back and said, yeah, we got no interaction on Blue Sky, and we couldn't show our sponsors, our advertisers, we couldn't show our ecosystem that anyone is even interacting with our stuff ever anymore at all. So we had to go back to X. Man, I held on to a yen trade. I'm getting ready to start doing some sim trading from class, and so I sim traded a yen today. I was just going down all day. It was nice algo running it. Blah 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 blah. Sell. Just at its lows, getting lower, and right when I got in, it just stopped going down, and it reversed. And so I was like, I mean, I had all the check boxes from class. They were all checked. And
right.
But there's probably time of day or whatever, something else, or the U.S. dollar moved for some other reason, so it changed. And then I was getting ready to clear up this and then start moving on to homework. I just closed it out at break even. Just said, all right, just turn it off. And as soon as I did that, it starts ticking down again.
That's funny. It's kind of, it's how it kind of works, dude. Like it's crazy. Like when I look at it, man. But I mean, I honestly, I love this stuff. Like it's like the coolest stuff in the world. Like it's cool. You know? It's actually really cool. Sitting this is this is it right here. Perfect. The 6th March. There we are. Yuan, man, the yuan, dude, is this is like such currency wars, bro. This is crazy. Like we saw it pushing up. Now we're watching the yuan.
Got the strength of the yuan,
yeah,
versus the dollar.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. Like, look at the U.S. dollar too, as well. Like everybody wants to make it advantageous for the rest of the world's economy to come do business with them. So you're watching USD, you know, you're watching the US or the dollar go up, right? And then, but if you look at it from a standpoint, it's at the lowest it's ever been in almost, what was it? Since 2000.
Hold on one second there, Pedro.
Yeah. While Tom is taking care of that, just real quick, you can see here, like the U.S. dollar, everybody was freaking out the sell-off, and when you look at this shows that people like the U.S. dollar, right? We saw, and Trump, even though he's trying to keep it low, it's tough for him, right? Like people are looking to be buying USD almost as if, like I said, if we can nail down the Straits of Hormuz and engage the rest of the world into finally moving and doing business with America, it's going to be really interesting to see how this plays out here. Really. The other part, and where is the yuan? The yen. I thought I had the yen here. So that I do not have the yen. Everything else but the yen. 6. Europe. Did I erase it? Swiss, African rand. Okay, I just don't understand why it's not. BTC, man. Excuse me. Don't mean to be coughing in your guys' ear. All right, this yen. Let's see. Let's go this straight old fashioned here. Shares. Currencies, USDT, where's the currencies? Boom. Where are you, Mr. Yen?
6J.
Is it 6J? No, but I want to know the actual. Do you know is it M? What is it? What's the
Oh, yes, it's M.
Okay.
6JM.
Yeah. 6JM.
Remember, it brings up the little arrow that you can select right there. If you just type 6J next to CME, there's an arrow with every contract that's a. Oops.
Yeah. But I'm looking for the continuous.
There, just click that. Just click it. Just hit enter. There. Now click that.
Gotcha. Okay, perfect. That's what I was looking for here real quick. Watching this sell off, dude, is crazy. Like, it literally blows my mind of just this right here. Bah, bah, bah. It has everything to do with the yen carry trade. Everything to do with the yen carry trade. What's actually happening from a global standpoint. This is another one we need to keep paying attention to. Is the borrowing of the U.S. yen for low interest rates, right? Like the yen, this Japanese central bank, they're looking to raise the rates. So as that happens, it puts a lot of people in the squeeze on a banking standpoint. That's going to be really, really interesting. And I'll put it like this. It doesn't help these guys that you have stable coins. If stable coins can take off, I can put my money in USD and as a stable coin and get 4% to 6-8%. I mean, that blows my mind. To be able to just have somebody else compete with the banks. It's crazy. What are your thoughts about that, my friend? As I drink some water. I can't hear you, buddy.
The banks are rightly worried about the flight of capital out of their regular accounts. No, although another article made a good point, is that a lot of the cash that goes to stablecoins is actually kept in cash. Not all of it goes to buy bonds. They keep a lot of the cash. And where do they put that? Right in the banks. Right? They don't keep it under their mattress. They just, Citibank takes a deposit from old Jim there for $100,000. He takes his money out of the bank and buys some USDC. Well, USDC keeps 40% of their stuff in cash. So 40% just goes right back to Citibank because they keep it in a bank. It's safe. And so then the U.S. government gets some of the money because the people will buy bonds with it and stuff like that. But really, brokerage houses get the money, and it's a shell game that I think the banks ultimately can win anyway, because ultimately everyone uses the bank for something or another. Like even the crypto exchange, like I'm full in crypto. Well, actually, you just gave your dollars to this company who gave you some tokens back that represent those dollars, and they put your dollars in the bank. So the banking system still has your money. They just gave you an IOU for your own money. And I realize that people, no, I got cold storage, all this type of stuff. Yeah, you're 1% of the crypto market cap that does that. But Pedro, the talk about future of currencies, I mean, we should have our own whole convention for that, the future of currencies, because I can really see 5 currencies in the future, and there's just no reason for the El Salvador currency to exist, or for the Gambian currency to exist, or it's just not. And in the past, when they had to manage it and be able to pay, because and have their own bank, and so people could borrow and credit, when all transactions were local, everyone needed their own currency.
Yeah.
But now all transactions are almost every transaction happens in a global system. Like even when you go and buy your coffee, your payment goes boop, it goes bing, 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 bing through the servers of the world and then comes back approved. Same thing with, all these other fiat currencies. It's just no need for them. They say, well, you got to be in control of your own future. Okay, that's great. Then you need to spend the money to set up a proper economy and a proper system that you can manage properly. But if you just have like any regular, Gambian currency, Equatorial Guinea, just move to fucking stable coins and be done with it. Suddenly your country will be stable. It'll be some difficulty switching because some things are subsidized by the government and some things are just naturally cheaper, local, and all that type of stuff. But just switch to it. You'll see all of a sudden your government won't have to spend tons of taxpayer money on just managing something they don't need to manage anymore. Just say, we're switching to USDC. Fine, whatever. They don't even need to switch to actual US dollars and have like the UAE, they have their own currency, and so does Saudi Arabia, but they're all pegged to the dollar. They still have to manage it to make sure it stays pegged to the dollar.
Yeah, that's one of the biggest things.
And so they have to, and the U.S. is part of that agreement too. They agree to help ensure that they're pegged to the dollar. But other, obviously, if Equatorial Guinea or something like that relies on stable coins, and there's a problem with stable coins, their country could be screwed. So they could take precautions by saying, all right, 3/4 of the value of all our budget will be in stablecoin USDC, and the other quarter will be in US dollars, and we'll increase, or in an index between them and the euro or something, something like that. It's just making things cheap and easy to do. And as we all know, money follows the path of least resistance, right?
Yes.
And if you have to pay big money to manage money, versus not pay big money to manage the same money, the money goes in the cheap way. Here in Canada, they did the opposite. They went from having a guy named Jim put all their pension money in an index funds, spread it out over the whole market. It was great. It's some of the lowest costs of pension fund managing in the whole world. And it wasn't underfunded. It performed well to market conditions, never scandals, never anything. And they decided, we can do better. The current prime minister said, we can do better if we actively manage it. We can beat the market all day long. So they're spending hundreds of billions of dollars, big shiny new headquarters, offices all over around the world, wealthy investment things and consulting contracts and LLCs out the ass taking consulting money. And they do not do as well as Jim. Money follows the path of least resistance. It's a great example of that. Let's see what's going on. Let me check the socials here a second. I still got a couple of viewers tuned in here. Thanks everybody for watching us. Coming to the end of the show here soon. Let me see if there's any new ads to read. Pedro, while you're typing that, I'm going to do a Rumble Wallet ad for a whole $1.
Nice.
And then we'll come back and wrap up the show. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about this little thing down below me here called the Tip Jar and Rumble Wallet. Oh, hold on. Program not starting. There we go. Here's a little inside scoop that many creators are talking about behind the scenes. It's actually one of the reasons why we're using Rumble here. They made a way to super chat creators so we can get paid immediately without any fees. YouTube and Twitch take up to 50% of fees when you tip creators. This method takes none. You get all the monies. That's right. The platform takes 0 fees. We keep nearly 100% of what you send to our Rumble wallet. You can super chat with Bitcoin, Tether USD, or even Tether Gold stablecoins. And soon the USAT, the stablecoin for the US from Tether. The tip will show up directly in your Rumble chat, in which, if you do that, I'll read it. All you need to do is download the Rumble wallet on the App Store and send your tips to your favorite creators. You can go to, guys, you got to fix the grammar in these things. Please have someone more than a 10-year-old intern read these things. You can go to Rumble Wallet, wallet.rumble.com, or you can download the app directly from the app stores. Seriously, what an amazing way to get rid of the middleman and help the creator economy. Shout out to Rumble for making this disruptive technology. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Over there on the big screen, over there on the side of the screen, we have a QR code there for Rumble Wallet. If you're watching on the big screen, hold your cell phone up there and pop that QR code and learn all about it. Put your eyeballs on our advertisers, please. If you're watching on your cell phone or your tablet, there's a link in the chat that says learn more. And if you're watching on the replay, first of all, thank you very much. Second of all, down in the description, there is a link to the Rumble wallet. I did that. I took some, Pedro's got that mechanical keyboard. Ooh, put that back on mute.
Want to know something? I'll put it like this. I have a new one, and it doesn't click as much, but I love the kinesthetic feeling that I feel when I'm typing on this one.
All right, hey, hold on. Hold on a sec, Pedro.
Yeah.
Still in the middle of the ad.
Sorry.
Anyway, thank you to Rumble Wallet for sponsoring this segment of DYOR Live. I was turning you on to talk about the Rumble wallet, and down below us there's a tip jar, and people can feel free to use that. Download the Rumble wallet, and you can send us your hard-earned cryptos. More importantly, you can get involved in the Tether Gold program, which is pretty cool, actually. You buy it, and it's directly related to the price of gold. And for Americans, we can't convert it to gold because we're not allowed to in the U.S. for some reason. We can't take retail gold delivery from dealers. You have to be a dealer to get. I don't know what the story is. Not available to Americans. But if you're a foreigner, likely you can go to Tether's website, open up an account, and say, "I want my gold," and they will send you your gold. That's pretty cool for everyone except Americans. You can just quickly buy gold and take delivery of it. I'm not talking about thousands and millions of ounces and stuff like that. I'm just talking about the stuff you can get. Anyway, very interesting. And I've gone around and I've tipped other creators on Rumble, Tether Gold, and they're always very surprised. We've had a bunch of the big shows now mention our name. Matt Morse, Steve Crowder, a couple other ones like that. The Quartering. I'm forgetting them all. Anyway, they've all thanked us for that. Anyway, Pedro's figuring something out there, I can tell. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of the show today. I'm going to go find someone to raid.
Oh, wow. You didn't hear anything I said there. Sorry about that.
No, didn't hear you. Just sitting there typing away.
Yeah. I was just saying that it's pretty simple. I think that when you look at what's... and it's I was just talking for about a minute before. I have a friend on Facebook. He posts some stuff. I always, because I see things different, I post on it. And so, but I always ask very pointed questions because he'll say statements and I'll go, have you read that? Have you read the other view? Like I read multiple views so I can have a well balance and see where they actually meet and see what the real truth is sitting at, right? Like, you hear me talk about this all the time. Anyways, long story short, cracking up because he is being, he's like, I'm not going to answer you. I'm not, and I find it funny because everybody's calling me foolish, but he's not willing to engage in multiple views of being able to say like, oh, I see the world that way. Okay, I can see that. All right, but I also see where this has faults, and he doesn't like that. And especially over text, it's hard to really hear somebody's voice inflections, especially when it comes to war and especially when it comes to politics. So I'm basically going to keep poking him until either he mutes me, defriends me, or he actually connects and goes, you know what, I can see that perspective. So foolish to me is how somebody views you is as important as you caring about their farts, because it can change, and majority of the time it stinks because based off your own chemical imbalancements of whether you got coffee or you didn't get coffee, whether you're holding something warm in your hand or you ate something weird last night and it's affecting you. Like, your opinion on somebody can change like that based off literally your own chemical imbalances.
That's it. Catch you all on Monday.
It's just, and I know that. That's why if I think I don't like that person, I'm like, oh, something in me I probably ate wrong. Because most people are cool. Anyways, I digress. We're closing the show, and that's what I was just basically taking care of. So, sorry about that.
Sorry, the show I was going to raid just ended now while I was waiting.
Well, it's a good thing that we didn't close then, you know?
Oh. All right, let me find another one here. Trill Money Empire. What is Trill? No, it's just one of those stock channels or graphing channels. Sin City Crypto seems to be live. Mikester's there. All right, let's go raid Sin City Crypto again.
Fucking river. Okay, we got a super chat from Grid. $5 said, "Boo Mike McKenzie. Boo him." Who's Mike McKenzie? I don't see Mike McKenzie in the chat.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's all we've got time for today. Thanks to everybody that tuned in, watched us, all that type of stuff. We're gonna do a raid right now to satisfy our. Sorry, I'm listening to three things in my ear at once. I forgot to.
I was a bit late to the trade, but caught from 2.
Hold on a sec here.
I actually got. That's pretty cool. But also part of it is my time.
All right, we're gonna raid the Sin City Crypto. A bunch of good guys out in Vegas. They have a cool studio, one that I wish Pedro and I had. But anyway, I would appreciate it if you go visit them and say who sent you. Say Striking and Pedro sent from DYOR Media. Would love it. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, as always, that's all we got for you today. My name is Tom, otherwise known as Striking here in the digital media universe. So glad to have hosted another one of these great shows with my co-host, Mr. Pedro Garcia, the crypto chart analyst. We'll be back tomorrow, so be there. When you get the little thing saying, please do the raid, please do it. And I will send that. They always change it just a little bit, so I'm never smooth here. I've confirmed the raid, and we're off to the races. For the rest of you, you're going to get the kabong, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you tomorrow. Kabong.
So yes, for sure, boo him. Boo that clown. He probably cries when he... Never mind.
I don't pay attention to the haters.
Is that gap the oracle not working? I don't know, D. Jenny. I don't think so, but yeah. If anything can be said about David, it's he likes it tight.
Whoa. Okay.
Depends on what we're talking about. Relationships, I like tight relationships. I'm tight with my boys here.
Hey.
Other things I like tight. I like my underwear tight. We'll just leave it at that. Also, DYOR Media did a little raid here on Rumble, so shout out to all the Rumble fans, Mikester, and Do Your Own Research Media. Thank you very much. Okay, JP.
Yes, sir.
Let's look at ETH. We don't ever look at ETH. You know why we don't ever look at ETH? Because ETH does whatever the fuck Bitcoin does.
Eve is like the bastard.
Literally, they're identical. The charts are identical.
I agree.
Cannot, like, unless I'm on the 1 minute, they look the same.
Yeah.
So, but anyways, for the sake of the people watching, because we love you, let's go and take a look at ETH.
Momentarily, it looks bearish. Double top, 30-minute bear div, like elsewhere in the market. Momentum sliding out. You got blood diamonds. You got liquidity grabs. It looks bad.
You say blood diamonds?
Blood diamonds, yeah. Big blood diamond, 30-minute.
That low is still holding though, JP.
It is
so far.
for now. So that's a 30-minute. Let's zoom in. More blood diamonds all over the place. 5-minute.
From my experience, JP, that usually means there's a big dip coming, yeah?
Yes. Blood diamonds, yeah, and especially once you get those manipulation X's like this, and then oftentimes I notice it'll flash the manipulation X and print, and then we get a big move up, and everyone gets excited, and then a mega move down.
Well, that's the whole point of that
The manipulation.
exactly, right?
So we may have gotten manipulated early today and ready for a big downturn this evening.
Okay, so should we position ourselves now, or JP, or should we wait for confirmation?
How do we make money with this? Let's see. How could we trade this here?
Right now, high or low? Little evening, morning star pattern there.
Is this like some type of Batman sign? What is this?
That's the
Batman pattern.
that's the raven, bro.
Classic.
No. What's a bird? Robin knows birds. Where's it? Robin? Birdman.
Seagull?
The guy likes birds. Can we bring Robin here real quick? I
Rob,
just
get
asked
in
him
here,
a
Rob.
Very,
Yeah,
very
seriously, come on,
important
Rob.
question. Somebody please go get Rob. Robin! I don't want to blow out the mics, that's why I'm not yelling. But I need to know, what is the bird that's... Okay, what is the bird that has the very long the wingspan? Yeah, the audio's low.
Yeah, Gina got to turn on that mic.
Yeah.
That would be guess one.
We love throwing last minute stuff at our TDs. It's
Guess
great.
one.
Trainee, are you paying attention? This is what we do right here. We throw last minute stuff in. But we make it work, baby. So So anyways, pull up the chart real quick. So this was we're identifying this as a very long feathered winged bird, right? You see that, you see the wings. What kind of bird has a lot of feathers? 'Cause I know you're a big bird guy. You got pigeons, you got parrots. I think you got a crow or something in your backyard, right? So what is a bird that's got really, really deep feathers like that, like a way massive wingspan, you know? What a great drawing that is, JP.
Thank you.
The man does art and he trades. Look at that.
I see you guys you are on the right path. However, you took a wrong turn somewhere, and so it's obviously a bat. So there's no feathers on it at all.
Oh, got it.
And so if you look at kind of like the bat symbol, you know, you see on the left wing there, you got the little spike on the bat wing.
Yep. I see it.
And then on the right, you also got a spike on the bottom of the bat wing too. You know, not the head. You're ignore the head, but you got
Like a bat.
the bottom spikes, bro.
Okay,
Yeah, we
like
see
these,
it, bro.
like these, right?
Yeah. See, that's bat.
Oh, see, I knew I called in the right
That's
person.
a bat.
So it's
Rob, I knew you're here today.
I know that's a bat.
I knew you were here today for a reason. And JP, I might have to get up, give you a hug
You
and
know
a
what they
kiss.
say about trading the bat symbol, right?
What, you got a short
It'll be a dark night.
Oh!
Good point. Because technically,
That was pretty good.
this is a diamond pattern. It is no